your family owned. What was the name of the business?
Abrams Department Store. It's on Court Street.
Yeah.
About the second biggest in town. Rogers was the biggest.
Mm-hmm. And then, does your family employ any African Americans in their home and homes of the business?
Yeah, they had them.
Mm-hmm.
They would usually clean up. There wasn't any clerks, there wasn't any waiting on people, and, you know, that type thing. But they always had, you know, a man run errands or whatever. But they wasn't like it is now.
Yeah, you remember that story? Tell them about that story you told me the other day about the lady that said, "I don't do that anymore" or something.
Oh,
remember?
yeah. Well, I had a girl that worked in my store. Aura was her name. Mm-hmm. I hired her to clean, you know, to vacuum the store and clean up and whatever and do this and that. We used to have to clean our windows, you know, squeegee the windows down with water, you know, about a couple of times a week. Mm. And I had her doing it, you know, and that was fine with me. And we had to do a lot of things around the store, cleaning up and running errands and different things. And one time I came in and I was asking, I said, Ord, I said, you need to get up there and get those windows clean. I said, they're looking bad. The girls don't do that no more. I said, well, okay, you know, and I did it myself. Mm-hmm. And then I asked her something else, and she said, the girls, we don't do that no more. Something, you know, something. I asked her to run an errand. We had a seamstress who was outside the store and needed to do something to it. Mm-hmm. Run down the alley, you know. I said, all right, I'll get Sybil, my wife, but she'll run down there. And something else came up, and I said, Ora, let me ask you something. I said, tell me, what will you do? She said, well, I'd like to wait on the customers. You know, of course, that was a no-no. Mm-hmm. I said, I just don't know. I said, I guess I'm just going to have to let you go, of course. You know, she's making big money, about $20 a week. You know, that was pretty good money back in those days. Mm-hmm. She had about 9 kids, about 9 different guys. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I had to let her go. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't do anything. I mean, you know. But that was of course, they couldn't sit down anywhere, you know, downtown. Mm-hmm. At the drink counters, you know, where they order something and all. They didn't do that. And
I gotta ask, because I'm new here.
Huh?
Was it like that over at Trowbridge's?
Yeah.
Did they have a separate section at Trowbridge's?
No. They used to go and wait up at the front, but they were not allowed to come in and sit down. You know, but they couldn't sit down anywhere, but they can come up, they can get something. They did it over at Walgreens. They used to have Walgreens downtown, too. Mm-hmm. They had a lunch counter, you know.
Would have been
and they would order and stand back, but they
yeah.
wouldn't sit down. But I remember the day they did sit down.
Yeah, you do?
Oh, boy.
And see, I was part of that.
Yeah.
They were sitting right up at that counter.
Yeah.
I knew them. It didn't bother me. I said, hey, what's the problem?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Help yourself. You know, who cares?
Yeah.
And still, it don't bother me at all. Because I had been to New York quite a few times. And I know what goes on up there is, you know, you don't think about those things. Mm-hmm. Go to Automat, and you remember the Automat? I used to love the Automat.
Now, is that something new to you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I don't even
The
know.
Automat is, imagine if you were standing inside a giant vending machine. There were glass windows where you could see what the product was, like a slice of pie. You put a nickel in, the door would open, you could take the slice of pie out and put it on your tray. You had hundreds of these windows with all kinds of foods in them, and you just have open it, put the nickel in, the door would open, you take the food out, like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I love the Automat.
Yeah, because for a handful of change, you get a nice lunch, and it's ready. That was the original fast food.
Oh,
I bet it was healthier too.
Some of it.
Not the slice
No.
of pie.
Well, I mean, they were making stuff like, beef stew. You have a little pot of beef stew and a cup of coffee and everything, for like 20 cents.
Well, what did these people do at the counter? Like when the blacks started sitting there, did the other?
I didn't do anything. I knew them all.
What about the
Well,
other
you know,
people? Did
well,
they?
they just-
Did they serve
did the
them?
police-
Looking,
Did the police come?
yeah, they ordered the police to come,
Oh, they did.
and they made them get out.
Okay.
And this was downtown Florence
Yeah.
on Court Street, the
On
Woolworth-
Trowbridges.
Trowbridges?
Walgreens
Walgreens.
was the one I was at. I didn't.
Are you sure it's Walgreens?
Yeah.
I'm used to them being
I know
Walgreens.
I think it was Walgreens. I remember.
believe you.
Okay.
I believe
I mean,
you.
I
It was
know
right there on the corner where
Both of them
Right
had
where-
it. Both of them had the lunch
where,
counters at the time.
Wells Fargo is now there.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Downtown. Yeah.
I think that
South
was,
Hall building.
okay.
Yeah. Trowbridges has a counter and it's still standing, so you might even, if you feel like it, you might go in and ask them.
Right. Well, the movie theater was like that. Did they tell you that? The movie theater had, even when I was going, they had a main entrance for white people, and then they had that entrance right to the side, and it's still there. And you go in there, and the blacks would have to go upstairs.
On the Shoals Theater,
Yeah,
I have noticed the extra door.
that's what it was for.
Yeah, they had that when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
They'd go upstairs because I had to go with them when we were real little, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd go up there with them and sit with them.
I had to go up there with them too, because you gave, they were maids, and they wouldn't
Yeah.
let me go by myself downstairs, so I'd go upstairs with the maid, Jewel or whoever it was. Yeah, I remember.
Did you socialize with any of the children of the workers who worked in the?
What'd you say? I didn't.
Did you socialize with any of the African American children in the area?
I don't remember.
Yeah, did you have any friends that were black growing up? You probably didn't. I don't.
I had a few guys, but I mean, I wasn't close to them or anything.
Yeah, just those two guys that came over to the house for a party, and I'm still friendly with them.
Curtis.
Curtis, and Reggie was the other guy's name, and I see his mom sometimes now, but we weren't really friends with many black people that I recall.
Social friends.
Social friends, no, not really.
And of course, you didn't go to school with them.
Right. And even when I went to Auburn, there was one guy in pharmacy school named Tawaldi, and he was from Africa, and I got kind of friendly with him, but
Right.
not real social friends, but just friendly enough that
Right.
we were nice, and so that didn't happen. If it happened, I would do it, but I just wasn't looking for it. They weren't looking for me either, I don't guess.
You know, off the record, I have a feeling to say something, and you don't have to record it, or if you want to, you can.
I guess you could.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I think the problem with the, we call them colored people, you know what I mean? Israel has black people, colored people, whatever you call it. We don't think anything about it, you know. I've been there and I know, but they have a different appearance. If we go dressed up somewhere to a meeting, say, and this colored guy comes in, he's got that wild-looking hairdo and all that stuff, and they just have a different appearance, and that's where the problem comes in. If they were dressed like me, then I don't think there'd be any problem. I dress like white people do. But now some of them, there's a few, of course, that important people.
Recording?
No.
We have
You
a
know,
few.
the funny thing is, Dr. King knew that, which is why you never see pictures of him
Yeah,
dressed in
always
that way.
dressed
Right.
up.
always in a suit and tie, just
Right.
like anyone else of that era.
But they weren't. Most of the people that, if you'd have a meeting here and they come in goofy looking, with them hairdos real wild. I mean, I'm not making fun because
No, I know what you
I know I ain't
Right.
pretty
I know.
either, but
I know what you mean.
at least I dress decently. And they, they got, what I'm talking about.
And
Different.
there's starting to be
And
like
that's why
a resurgence of it as
I
well.
think that's got a lot to do with it.
of them dressing like in
Really?
tribal
Oh.
clothing and the hairstyles. And I've noticed a lot of younger African Americans especially are starting to dress like that.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that privately, I hate to even say this, I make fun of the black people who use tribal names or these odd, unusual names. And I'm going, oh, come on. But, you know, in a way, I know, and even if I think, and I usually don't